sorry please, the history in news. My name is Adeni Adiola. Welcome to the show that reminds you of how men that matters have impacted the society, the universe, to help you and I move forward. On this week, the first official Mass of Roman Catholics was held in the island of the Philippines. Mass, the central act of worship of the Roman Catholic Church, which culminates in celebration of the sacraments of the Eucharist. The term Mass is derived from the ecclesiastical Latin formula for the dismissal of the congregation. Etel missa est, go, it is descending dismissal. After the Second Vatican Council, 1962 to 65, the form of the Mass changed greatly. Most I'm so sorry, please pardon me. Most in the use of vernacular languages in the place of the traditional Latin. The Mass consists of two principal rites, the liturgy of the Word and the liturgy of the Eucharist. Wow. The first include readings from scriptures, the homily, sermon, and the intercessory prayer. The second includes the offering and the presentation of bread and wine at the altar. Their consecration by the priest during the Eucharist prayer or canon of the Mass, and the reception of the consecrated elements of Holy Communion. It was on this week Catholics in Philippines experienced the divine experience. Wow. How could we have known this happened a very long time ago, like in 1962 to 1965. Well, we gain knowledge every day, so I hope you've gained something today now. So the next one we have here is France can't forget this week as the iconic Eiffel Tower was dedicated. On March 31st, 1889, the Eiffel Tower is dedicated in Paris in a ceremony presided over by Gustave Eiffel, the tower's designer, and attended by French Prime Minister Pierre Tirade, a handful of other dignitaries, and 200 construction workers. In 1989, to honor of the centenary of the French Revolution, the French government planned an international exposition and announced a design competition for a monument to be built on the Champion Mars in central Paris. Out of more than 100 designs submitted, the Centennial Committee chose Eiffel's tower plan of an open lattice world iron tower that would reach almost 1,000 feet above Paris and be the world's tallest man-made structure. Eiffel, a noted bridge builder, was a master of metal construction and designed the framework of the Statue of Liberty that had recently been erected in New York Harbor. These are some great discovery. Like this week, back then, all these things happened back then. This week, so I hope you are getting some knowledge, because how could you have known that such things have happened, like that happened back then, this week? So I hope you're all enjoying it, because I'm actually enjoying myself. It's a very great show that I always look forward to every Friday. Alright, so let's go. Eiffel's Tower was also greeted with skepticism from critics who argued that it would be structurally unsound and indignation from others who thought it would be an eyesore in the heart of Paris. Unperturbed, Eiffel completed its great power under budget in just 2 years. 2 years! Can you imagine? Just 2 years! Jesus Christ, that's very, very unbelievable. Like, just 2 years. Only one worker lost his life during construction. Just one worker. I can just imagine that. I'm not saying my country is bad, but though, something like that, if something like that should happen in Nigeria, I don't know how many lives could have lost. Back then, just one life, that Eiffel Tower now, very big, huge, and everything. That's very, very awesome. Which at the time was a remarkably low casualty number for a project of that magnitude. I said it. The light, airy structure was, by all accounts, a technological wonder, and within a few decades, came to be regarded as an architectural masterpiece. As in today, me say I dey dream say one day that Paris I go that Eiffel Tower, snap picture, plenty picture, post online for like 1 year or 2 if I return back to Nigeria, because that place I must usually snap picture. Very important, because that place any if na low tree we go do am. So on this week, the next one we have here, on this week, the US bombed Vietnam amidst protests. It's on a casualty. Okay, March 12, 1965, the US is bombing North Vietnam on the University of Michigan's campus Students and professors are gathered for a first of its kind protest event. They are holding a teach-in, staying up all night to discuss what is going on in Vietnam. How did the classroom become a powerful tool for protest? Exactly. And what impact did this teach-in have in shaping the anti-war movement on college campuses and around the world? Like, how did the classroom become a powerful tool for protest? Like, imagine students in Nigeria, because currently now we're experiencing ASU strike. So imagine students in Nigeria now going back to their classes to go and do some kind of protest in their classes. That would be very, 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 very outrageous in Nigeria. Like, very, very outrageous. So we are getting there. What impact did this teach-in have in shaping the anti-war movement on college campuses and around the world? What, like this week back then in March 25th, 1965, all this happened back then. Also, the next one we have here is Hitler stands trial. Like Hitler, we all know Hitler, like we all know him. So it stands trial back then, this week in February 26th, 1924. 10 defendants enter a courtroom in Munich. They are being charged with an attempted coup. They tried to overthrow the government of the Weimar Republic and almost succeeded. All eyes are on his second defendant to enter the room. When the judge reads the man's name into the record, he identifies himself as a Munich writer named Adolf Hitler. Today, Hitler's first attempt to seize power. How did his 1923 coup fail? Like how? And why would Hitler later say that this failure was perhaps the greatest good fortune of my life? Like, a failure is a good fortune of your own life. Okay, thank you to Thomas Weber for speaking with us on this episode, author of the book Becoming Hitler. Thank you also to our guest Peter Rose Range, author of 1924, The Year That Made Hitler. We also read David King's book, The Trial of Adolf Hitler, in researching this episode. It is a great resource if you want to learn more about the story. Like, if you want to learn more about the story, try and get the book by David King, The Trial of Adolf Hitler. Like, it's a very good book for you to gain more knowledge about Adolf Hitler, in case you want to know more about Adolf Hitler. Alright, the next one we have here is US Vice President Al Gore is born, and was born this week back then. So American politician Al Gore, who served as vice president in 1993 to 2001 in the administration of US President Bill Clinton and lost the disputed 2000 presidential election, was born. This as like American politician Al Gore, who served as a vice president in 1993 to 2001 in the administration of US President Bill Clinton, like Bill Clinton back then, and lost the disputed 2000 presidential election, was born. So 1993 to 2001, so it was the vice president, and it was born this week back then. So I'm really enjoying myself. Like, I've enjoyed myself over, like, gaining more knowledge by knowing, we are yet to talk about great men that have impacted on the universe. It's a very great eye-opening, like, and then also brain opening for every one of us, because how could we have known that such thing happened back then in this week? So what we have treated so far is France. It was on this week Catholics in Philippines experienced this divine experience. Like, it's a very like, for the Catholics, like, because I'm not a Catholic. So on this week, the first official mass of Roman Catholics was held in the island of Philippines. That's the first one we treated, and it was done around the year 1962 to 1965. Back then, this week. Also, the next one was France can't forget this week, as the iconic Eiffel Tower was dedicated. Like, my dream country, Eiffel Tower. Like, I so much love the country because of that Eiffel Tower. Whenever I see the Eiffel Tower in the movies, like, I get so excited, because that is my dream country, and I must go there one day, because it is a very beautiful country for everyone born on this earth to visit. Because if you don't visit that place, you're missing a lot. Because I see that place in my dream, so I must go there, real life, whether the devil likes it or not. So the next one that we treated, and it was done in March 31st, that's 1889, the Eiffel Tower, March 31st, 1889. Like March 31st was yesterday, so it was done back then, like in the year, March 31st, that's yesterday. Also, on this week, the US bombed Vietnam amidst protests, like during protests, like the NSAS protest that happened, that then many lives were lost, then something like this happened back then in 1965, March 25th. Wow, this is kind of disastrous because it's a very, very sad news. Bombing in Vietnam amid protests. Imagine students protesting like this ASU strike now, students protesting that please, we want to return back to school, and then they bomb all of them. So the next one we have here is Hitler stands trial, February 26, 1924. That was when Adolf Hitler stands trial in court, and it also says the failure. Okay, let me read what he said. That this failure was perhaps the greatest good fortune of his life. I don't know how a failure could probably be a good fortune for him. Well, only he knows what happened here. Also, the former US Vice President Al Gore was born back then this week. Well, happy birthday to him. I don't know if he's still alive. I don't know. Happy birthday to him. If he's not alive, may so rest in peace. So we have come to the end of this show. So I hope you all enjoy it, because I really enjoy myself learning new things by day by day. It's very, very exciting and full of knowledge. So this has been our knowledge bus stop. We bring you live defining the events that made headline or not. So as you all know, I am your beautiful host, Adeni Adiola. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of today. So see you next Friday. It's always on Friday. So see you next Friday, and do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and also put on your notification bell for you to get more real life events that has happened for some times. Thank you very much for staying tuned. My name is Adeni Adiola. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.